Hello my friends, today's video I have something really exciting to share with those of you in California, and then I'm going to share 3 recipes, and these are snacks, and it seems to be the most asked question. How did I help my cravings? Well, I had no cravings because I never cut out the things I love. So I wanted to share 3 dessert type snacks that I have been eating for well over a year. One of them is fairly new. It's not my recipe, but I will tweak it along the way to even suit me better. But I wanted to share those today. So that's what's coming up in this video. So get your pen and pencil and write down everything that I talk about, little tips I give, because sometimes, my old brain doesn't really remember everything I've talked about. Anyway, the exciting news that I have for those of you who live in California, Revitalash can now be ordered from Frisco Beauty and delivered right to your mailbox. She got the okay to sell Revitalash in California. She's very excited to be able to offer this to all of you who purchase from her regularly, but you have never been able to get the Revitalash. Now, my tube is a limited edition tube. That goes to show you how long this lasts. This was a holiday set. This tube lasts me well over 6 months, and I thought I would just share with you quickly all I do. Now, I have been using this for years. It has not changed the color of my eyes at all. It has not caused redness around my eyes. I don't overuse this product, and you don't have to either, my friends. All I do is I take it out and I actually wipe it along the side, and then at night, this is when I use my Revitalash. After I have put my lotions and potions on, I will just put one thin strip. I brush it right up on the root of the eyelash, and then I go over to the other side and do the same thing. And I am telling you, this keeps my eyelashes looking like I have some, because what was happening, and happens to many people with age, especially menopausal women, is we start to lose our eyelashes. And we all know that just a little mascara makes us feel alive. So you need good lashes. I'm not a false lash girl. I think they're a wonderful product to have out there for those that are. But for me, it just never really was anything that I got into. I used to do maybe an individual one here and there, and sometimes I might still extend one on the end, but it's not a regular thing for me. So the Revitalash really has been a lifesaver for me. I used to have like spaces where I'd have like, an 1/8 of an inch of no lash, and they were short and stubby, and now they at least frame the eyeballs. So those of you in California can now order Revitalash and get it delivered to your mailbox. And don't forget, Tammy20 is good on Revitalash, as well as a lot more skincare she carries. And I thought, while I'm talking about lashes, I had mentioned that my brows, I'm actually starting to see a lot of growth right here, which has helped my brow to thicken up. Unfortunately, it is coming in white, but I think I'm just at that stage in my life. But now the Revitalash brow did not work for me. However, my niece Ashley uses it, and it gives her Chewbacca brows. But for me, the new brow works like a charm, and it looks just like this. All I do is I pull it out once. I don't pump, I don't do anything. Pull it out. I just go back and forth on all of my brows, making sure to really hit the skin near the root, and I will extend it down just where I want a little more hair growth to help stimulate. But you don't really have to, because as our body heats up, these things travel. I have absolutely no problems with either one of them. And what's really nice about this, I think, the Revitalash, when you start using it, use it every single night. And over time, just one day you'll be putting on your mascara and you'll think, oh my goodness, this is working. I have tried several lash serums, and this is the only one that has worked for me. The new lash does not work for me. The new brow does. So I have to get 2 different ones, and I love them both. And you can use Tammy 20 on both of them. All right. I wanted to share that information with you today because she did text me the other day. She was very excited that she got the go-ahead to be able to sell to those of you in California. And if you've ever purchased anything in the past from Frisco Beauty, you know that she has exceptional customer service if you've ever had an issue with something. And her shipping is really fast. The only time she runs into anything is when you guys buy everything up, and then she has to order more and get that in. That's the only thing that slows her down. Other than that, her customer service can't be beat and her shipping can't be beat. So those of you in California and any of the rest of you who want to try this, Tammy 20 gets you 20% off, and you now have the freedom to order Revitalash. Okay, so now we are going to get on with the video, and I am going to tilt the camera down so that you can see everything that I am doing. And I will say that the ones I'm sharing with you, I eat every single day. Every single day I eat one of these, or all 3 of them actually. It was my snack today, which was Saturday. I posted it on Instagram. I made a homemade banana bread and I had it with some cottage cheese. That's a snack for me. But I'm very careful about how big I slice my piece. And that's why I think the scale is our friend. We learn portion control by using a scale. And for me, I am almost 2 years in and I am still using my scale to weigh all of my food. I don't have to anymore, but I know me, okay? I get a little cray-cray with my portion size because I'm a volume eater, and that's another thing. I try to pick things that I can eat a lot of because I like a big, full plate. That's me. All right, so let's get on with this video. I won't be coming back because I say goodbye to you at the end of the recipes. So just sit back and enjoy, my friends. All right, enjoy. Okay, the first thing you're gonna do is preset your oven 350, and this is going to bake for 40 minutes. Do not overbake and don't underbake, okay? All right, so I just thought I would go through the ingredients that I'm using. You will need 3 ripe bananas. That means your banana skin has black spots on it. That gives it a higher sugar content, so you don't have to add more sugar to the recipe. So 3 medium bananas. We're gonna mash those up. You need 1.5 cup of oats. This is the oats that I use. We are going to grind them up. I have a Ninja little blender thing that I'm gonna grind those up in. You need 1/2 cup of your favorite protein powder. Make sure it's a decent protein powder if you're going to bake with it. This is the one I like, and this is the Banana Foster's flavor, but you can use unflavored, you can use vanilla, you can use peanut butter, you can use chocolate, because banana goes with all of those. We're also going to need 1/2 cup of egg whites. We are going to need 1/2 cup of applesauce. This is in place. This adds moisture into it and also sweetness. You are going to need baking soda, baking powder, salt, and cinnamon, which I have all in my measuring cup right here. And the protein powder is in there as well. And then you're also going to need some chocolate chips and a little bit of lemon juice. The lemon juice helps it to brown, so it looks really decadent. All right, so baking powder, this is what I use. Baking soda, this is what I use. My cinnamon, you're also going to need cinnamon. This is the one I use. Very important to get a good cinnamon. And then salt, I just use a kosher salt. And I have my bananas in one bowl, and this is going to be for my dry. We are going to mix our wet ingredients together. So my bananas, my applesauce, and my egg whites will all go in the bowl, and we will mash this up. You can use a blender if you want. I just kind of mash them. I don't really get all crazy with that. Let me get 1/2 cup here. So I have put my applesauce and my bananas. Now I'm going to add my egg whites, 1/2 cup of egg whites. You can also use egg whites from an egg if you choose. And we're just gonna pour all of that in together, and then I'm going to add the lemon juice. And the lemon juice, the recipe will be below for you. I'm going to use a teaspoon of lemon juice, and you can use fresh lemon as well. This is just convenient. It's very convenient when you need a little bit of lemon, because sometimes I buy lemons and they just sit there and they go bad. All right, so now let me clean this up and I'll be right back for the second half. I wanted to mention that I use Lily's semi-sweet. I've also used the Lily's dark chocolate. They both taste good. You can use regular chocolate chips if you're not worried about the sugar, but I like to stay sugar-free because it's lower in calories for me, okay? All right, so now I'm going to take my dry ingredients, and I have my little Ninja thing here, and it has a little blender. I'll put the model below for you. And I am going to add 1.5 cups of oatmeal, and this is old-fashioned oatmeal. And I like this brand because it doesn't have any Roundup on it. And let me just get everything that fell on the counter and put it in there. And then I'm going to take all of the dry ingredients. So this is the protein powder, the baking soda, the baking powder, the cinnamon, and I'm going to mix it in with this so that everything is blended really, really well. I'm just going to put the top on and make sure it's even. Yep. And then I'm just going to give it a little shake, and then I'm just going to turn this on. And I'm gonna let this blend until it makes a flour, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have made an oat flour, and this has all of my dry ingredients. It's just easy this way, but you can also do it with a whisk. I'm going to pour this now into a bowl and make sure I tap it all out. Okay, so now I have my dry ingredients, and what I've done with the wet ingredients is I have a potato masher, but you can use a whisk or you can use a mixer. It doesn't matter. And I've just mashed this. I kind of like my banana bread with chunkier bananas in it. So I just mash it and make it look like baby's food pretty much, and that is it. And then I'll give it a nice little whip, and that is it. So now I'm going to just take the wet ingredients and pour it into the dry ingredients. Very, very easy recipe. And now many people will go ahead and mix before they add their chocolate chips. I'm gonna add my chocolate chips because I don't wanna overbeat it either. So now I'm just gonna take a spatula and I'm going to fold the wet ingredients in. You can put more chocolate chips in if you like. I put about 1/3 cup in. Sometimes I put a 1/2 cup. It all depends. And this is what the mixture will look like. And you just keep folding it in, blending it well, and then I just give it a good whip. And I think I might add a couple more chocolate chips, but you want to just make sure it's really incorporated. And this is what the batter will look like. And I am going to add a couple more chocolate chips in here, maybe just a 1/4 cup more. And we'll give it a quick stir. And then I have here a 9x5 3-inch loaf pan, and I just have parchment paper in it. So now I'm just going to take my mixture and pour it in, scraping the bowl. I want to make sure that I get everything in there. This is really, really good. I make it and I deliver it down to the neighbors, and I eat it myself. I love it over yogurt and fruit. I crumble it up like a granola almost, and it's very good. It's only 149 calories per slice if you slice the loaf into 8 pieces. Sometimes I do 10 pieces, and then it's lower in calorie per slice. And this is all you do, is and then I just always, because that's how I am when I bake. And then just to make it look pretty on top, I'm just going to sprinkle a couple of chocolate chips on top. And if you wanted, you could put walnuts in this, but I don't, because I want to keep the fat down so that it is not adding an excessive amount of calories. That's what I try to do. I find things that I really enjoy, but I try to keep them within my macros and lower in calories. So if you make this the way I've made it, it's 11 grams of protein, 1.5 grams of fat, and 23 grams of carbs. So now this is going to go in the oven just like this, and you're just going to leave it in there for 40 minutes. And it will be beautiful when it comes out. Okay, so I'll be back. Next, I'm going to make date bars. Now this can be made several ways. You can just slice the date, take the pit out, stuff it with peanut butter, roll it in chocolate, stick it in the refrigerator or freezer, and you're good to go. This one here, I have flattened the dates, put a layer of peanut butter on them, a layer of chocolate and salt, and then I just put them in a bag and I put them in the freezer. And when I want something sweet, this is what I reach for, and it's 64 calories per square. Today I'm going to try something different. I saw a girl on Instagram make these crunchier, and I thought, ooh, and she did it with puffed rice. Well, I'm a chocolate girl, so I am going to make it with chocolate Rice Krispies. For this recipe, it's very easy. You need some parchment paper and a pan. Now I just use a brownie pan. I have 2 pieces of parchment paper, enough to fill the pan. And then I have some dates, and these are organic medjool dates. So you will have to pit them. I get these at Costco in this big tub, and it's the best way to buy them. So what I'm going to do is line the paper in my brownie pan. Now this is the best way to do it. Just crumple up your parchment paper, then just unfold it, and it makes it, well, I ripped it, it makes it a lot easier to work with, my friends, a lot easier. And then you're just going to press it down into your pan. The sides will hang over, and you can kind of fold them over, and it helps to keep them in place. It doesn't matter how neat it is, just that it's covering the bottom, and this is just so it's easy for you to lift it out after it's frozen. So then we're going to take our dates, and you want to remove the end, and we are going to take a knife, gonna slice it slightly open, going to peel it back. I love dates. They are nature's candy. Take the pit out, and then you just flatten the date, and you're going to lay it in the pan. And we're going to continue to do this and just overlap slightly. So I'm just opening up my date, taking the pit out. It is sticky, but it's so well worth it. And then I'm just going to lay this one just slightly over the other one. And I'm going to carry on until I completely fill up the pan. So I will be right back after this has all been assembled. All right, my friends? Okay, stay tuned. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I'm going to lift the parchment paper out of the pan, and I'm going to put, now you can just take a glass, you can put this over in the pan, take a glass and smash it down. But I'm going to do it a little bit different because I like it to be really pressed together. So I take my little meat pounder and I just lightly tap on the dates just to flatten them all evenly and kind of smash them into each other so they hold together, so that once it's frozen, it's like a big bar. And then I'll just turn it, and I'll go one more time. I'm not really spreading it out because I want it to go back into the pan. I'm just lightly tapping on it to make them all even. Another nice little smash. So they lay nice and flat together. Okay, and then I'm going to set it back into the pan and push it down. And then I'm going to hold on to the end date because it will lift up, and I'm just going to peel the paper back. And my dates are all together now, except for maybe one or two will try to act up on me, but that's okay. I just smash it back together with my fingers, and this is what it looks like, okay? So now we can get rid of this. So next up, I'm going to take some peanut butter. You can use almond butter, whatever you like. Now, I like to use this Teddy brand. For one, all it has is dry roasted peanuts and salt. And it is already blended together. It doesn't separate. And then I take a big spoon, and I am going to just take a little dollop. And you see, it's nice and thin, so it spreads easily without disturbing. I get this at Publix. So I just take a big dollop, which is about a 1/3 cup, and I just start to spread it over my dates until I cover them completely. And it's just a thin layer. It's not a real thick layer of peanut butter, because then you get in the trouble of too many calories in it. And I'll take a little bit more. It comes out to be about a 1/2 cup, maybe just slightly over that you're using for the whole pan. And we spread it nice and thin over. Smells so good. A little bit more. But see, it spreads so nicely, this peanut butter. Really, it's nice. It doesn't drag any of the dates around. And I try to really make the layer even of peanut butter. Try not to have too many big clumps or anything like that. And then I just scrape the spoon off. Finish covering them. And you want to make sure they're completely covered. And it should look something like this. Okay, so now I have the dates and a layer of peanut butter. So now I'm going to take my Rice Krispies, and this is a serving size. I may not need the whole thing, but I did a serving size so that I can figure out the calories in my Fitness Pal. So I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle until I think I have enough. Sprinkle some on there. Just a thin layer. So I'm not using a full serving. And then I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to press the Rice Krispies. I am going to put a few more here. I'm going to press the Rice Krispies down into the peanut butter. And we are ready for the next step. So this is what it looks like now. It's got Rice Krispies all over it. You could add, instead of the Rice Krispies, you could add a layer of chopped nuts or pecans, walnuts, pistachio, whatever you like. You could put a layer of coconut on there if you want. And anything that floats your boat, my friends, is what you can do here. But I just thought this was really interesting with the Rice Krispies, so that's the way I went. So now the next step is I have about 3/4 cup of Lily's semi-sweet chocolate chips, and I'm going to put just a tad of coconut oil in it, and I'm going to microwave those until they are melted, and I'm going to pour that over the top of the Rice Krispies. And then to finish it off, I haven't decided, I'm just putting a small amount in there. I have not decided, that's less than a teaspoon. I haven't decided if I'm going to put salt on these yet. I think the sweet and salty is really a nice flavor. And I also think because of the peanut butter that has the salt in it, ooh, it's gonna be so good, my friends, so good. All right, I will be back. Okay, so the chocolate is melted. Took about 40 seconds. And now I'm just going to stir it to make sure that there are no lumps. And it is completely incorporated and just silky, silky smooth. That's what we're looking for. And then we're going to pour it all over the top. You may need a little more or a little less, it depends on your pan size. So now I'm just going to take the back of the spoon and lightly spread it over so that I don't disturb too many of the Rice Krispies. Some will move around, but that's okay. And just spread it until it covers completely over the top. And you gotta work quickly, because once it starts to harden, then you can't spread it anymore. So we're just going to take some more, sprinkle that on there, get myself a little spatula. All right, let's get that covered up. We're almost done. I'm gonna get a spatula and I'm going to scrape off the rest of the chocolate. It's very important that you cover everything. And I'm gonna go ahead and scrape it out of my cup. I waste nothing. This is all counted in the calories. Now this one here will probably be, might even be a little bit less in calories because I'm not putting the nuts on. I just did the Rice Krispies, so I'll have to figure it out. But these are all the treats that I eat on a regular basis. And I don't feel guilty about it one bit, and I have maintained my weight loss for well over a year now, and I have lost a total of, it goes from 38 to 40 pounds. I fluctuate. Some days I'm up 2 pounds, other days I'm down. But I don't, if I go out and I have something naughty, I don't sabotage the rest of the day. I just pick up with the next meal and move forward. I really have learned how to have a good relationship with food. I truly have. Nothing is off limits. Nothing is off limits unless I don't like it or it makes my stomach upset. And that is what you end up with. I think I am going to just do a sprinkle of the salt. And this is a very coarse salt. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of this on. It just adds another layer of flavor. And it's just this, I found it, I think at TJ Maxx or something like that, and I purchased it. And that is it. That is my date. Now this will go in the freezer to set up. And then when I'm ready to eat it, I just slice it into like 1-inch square bars. You could actually have a little bit more. It all depends on how many calories you have left in your day. If you have 200, 300 calories left and you want to have a whole slice of it, you can go right ahead and do that. But I'm going to put this in the freezer, and I think I'll share with you one more snack dessert that I have had nonstop. Nonstop, I have one every single night. And I have one of these every single day. Usually I have it like after my breakfast. I want something a little sweet because normally for breakfast I have something savory. So I want something just a little bit of sweet, and this does it for me. Or before I go out on my walk, I'll have one of these. So, and I have kept my weight off and loving everything I eat. Okay, so I'll be right back with another treat. We have the creamies. The creamies. I have a creamy every single night. I create different flavors all the time. And I've been making my creamies and enjoying them the most with cottage cheese, so I'm going to show you how I do that. You do have to have some sort of flavoring, so you either have to have an extract of some sort, or you have to use a flavored pudding or a flavored shake, and it has to have a fat content to it. But I'm going to share with you how I make one, and I'm actually going to make a banana coconut cream because it's something I haven't made before. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that together for you and show you how easy it is. And you can have these for under 300 calories, sometimes 400. It depends on how many calories you have left. You can even just pour a protein shake in here, put a little bit of pudding mix in it. And I'm well aware of all of the chemicals that might be in the pudding mix, but it's 80-20 rule with me, and I'm okay with it. But anyway, this is a pistachio that I made, and I'm going to probably have this one tonight, and I'll throw some pistachios in there and dark chocolate. So I'm going to use my Ninja that I used for some of the other desserts, and I'm going to turn my scale on, and I'm going to put it on mil, because that's what you measure liquid in. And I'm going to use half a serving of the Fairlife fat-free milk. So I'm going to measure out, a full serving is 240, so I'm going to do 120 mil. And I start with the milk first because if I go over, I want to put a little bit back in. And I am precise with everything that I measure because what's the sense of using a scale if you're not going to be precise? Okay, so we have 120 ml of the Fairlife in my container. And now I'm going to go in with this coconut milk and I'm going to fill it up, 120 ml of this. So I'm going to take it to 240, or you can clear it out. But 240 would give me the serving of liquid that I need. And I just put little bits in at a time. So there we go. So now I have a blend of regular milk and coconut milk. So now I'm going to go in with some cottage cheese. And I can't believe how good this tastes. It makes the thickest, creamiest ice cream. So I use the Good Culture cottage cheese, lactose-free. This milk is also lactose-free because I have a problem with lactose these days. So one serving is 110 grams. So I'm going to put it on the scale, put it back on grams, and zero it out. And now I'm going to take 110 grams of cottage cheese and just put it in there. That's 108. And that is 110. Then next, I'm going to take some cream cheese, and this is lactose-free as well. And this one here, I'm going to do a half serving. So a serving is 30 grams. I'm going to do 15 grams. Now this cream cheese will add that cheesecake flavor to it, but it will also help to really thicken it up a lot. So clear it out, and now we're going to take 15 grams. Just a teeny bit more, and that is 15 grams, and we're going to scoop that in there. And then we're going to go in with the controversial ingredient. This is the banana cream pie flavor of the sugar-free Jell-O, and I'm going to use 10 grams of this. 10 grams seems to be perfect for me as far as flavoring. So I'm just going to shake it off until it is 10 grams. There's 10 grams, and I will put that in there. And now I'm going to use coconut cream protein powder. A full serving is 34 grams. I'm going to use a half serving, which will be 17 grams, just for flavoring, because the cottage cheese has a really good amount of protein. So I'm going to zero this out. And I'm going to take 17 grams. That's 16. 16.5 and 16.9. Good enough. And that is it. So now I am going to blend this all up until it's really creamy. So I'm going to put my top on, and I'm just going to blend this, and I'll be right back. Before we move on, I wanted to share the banana bread with you. It comes out beautiful, and it is baked perfectly. 40 minutes is absolutely perfect. You do not want to overbake this or underbake it. So 40 minutes for me, and my oven temperature is it's on target. So it's a really, really easy banana bread. If you slice it into 8 pieces, like I said, 149 calories. So I'm just gonna set this off to the side and allow it to cool down and carry on. And here's a piece that I have sliced up of the banana bread that I made yesterday. And I shared it with many of the neighbors, so I only have a little bit left. But this is what it looks like when it's done. It's a beautiful piece of banana bread. And you can take this, break it up, and put it over yogurt. You can even do this like French toast, dip it in a little bit of French toast, and then fry it. It is so good, my friends. I saw this on Instagram. If I can find, I wrote the recipe down, but if I can search through, I will put down who I saw make this, because it's not my recipe. I will tweak it along the way. She used regular protein powder. I used Banana Foster. So I will, and she used regular chocolate chips. I used sugar-free. So I will switch it around to accommodate me. but it is beautiful, and I love it in the refrigerator. So I keep it pre-sliced in the refrigerator, and this way when I'm ready for it, it's right there for me. And I'm telling you, sometimes I'll have a half a piece, and then later on in the day I'll have the other half. So, you know, I'm always, I have a sweet tooth. I can't help it. Okay, so it's all blended. I'm going to pour it into my creamy container up to the max fill line. Sometimes I go a little bit overboard, like today. There's a little bit more. It will start to leak when you're making it, but you know, it's okay. So it smells like banana coconut. So what I'm going to do to add that good banana flavor to it is I have a banana here, and this is 40 grams of banana. And I do measure it out because it matters. The calories matter. So I'm just going to slice this up, and then I'm going to kind of dice it, and I'm just going to add it into the creamy. And then I'll just give it a little stir just to break those bananas apart. And the creamy machine will go through that, no problem. And then this will go in the refrigerator at least 12 hours. In the morning sometimes, at 7 o'clock in the morning, I will make a couple of creamies up, and then at 5 o'clock in the evening, I will go ahead and mix it, and it's ready. So it needs at least a good 8 to 12 hours. 24 hours is what they recommend, and that is a really good time, but if you're in a rush, you can do it a little bit sooner. So it'll just go into the freezer. Okay, so when my creamy is ready, especially that one, I will add some shredded coconut to the mix-in, and I will also chop up 2 squares, which will look like this, of my huge dark chocolate, and I will chop this, roughly chop it, and during the mix-in cycle, I will then pour this in with the coconut, and I will have a coconut banana cheesecake, chocolate chip cheesecake, creamy. And I will absolutely be in my glory, and Louis will say to me, can I taste it? And you don't know how much I hate parting with that one little bite. So that is it for today's video. I did angle the camera down because I wanted you to be able to see what I was doing. But I will be back soon, full face, because I think I'm going to do a fun video next. Sometimes I need to do fun and just let loose, my friends, because I can't do all this serious stuff all the time. So, yeah, try some of these sweet treats. Don't forget to really eat whole foods 80% of the time, and then 20% of your diet can be these types of foods. The dates are very healthy because there's nothing really bad in them. It's just natural peanut butter, and dates are excellent. Creamy is where I add a little bit of non-negotiables for some people, but for me, it's okay. It's only 20% of my diet, and it's working for me. So that is all that matters. That's it for today. If you haven't already subscribed, you know I'd love to have you as an ageless beauty, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And right next to it is a bell. It's supposed to notify you when I put up a video, but I don't know. Not everybody gets notified. And that is it for today. I'm going to let you get on out of here. Go out in the world. Be lovable, my friends. And remember, it is okay to love our age. I love you all. Bisous.